Welcome to this episode of ACG's Growth TV. I'm Carolyn Vallejo, and I'm here today with Chuck Gershman, co-founder and CEO of Owl Autonomous Imaging. And I'd like to first get to know Owl AI. I would love to hear about the products that you offer and how you differentiate yourself from competitors in the market.
Sure. Anyway, thank you for having me today. Appreciate it. So at Owl AI, we build a thermal imaging system specifically to detect pedestrians from automobiles. One of the major differences in this thermal imaging system that we build is that not only does it detect and identify pedestrians, but it also locates them in 3D space. So we build something that produces what's called a 3D point cloud, which is a representation of the 3D environment. And then we find those objects and we place those objects or identify where those objects are exactly in that space. That information is then put into a data form that can be fed to a perception computer system that can build a full model of the environment and then based on that model make decision making, the computer itself make decisions for the car, specifically for emergency braking systems, so they can actually operate the braking system independent of the driver if the driver fails to react to the object.
Can you tell me a little bit about the history of your company's growth and your plans for growth moving forward, taking into consideration the current market conditions?
Sure. So we're still considered an early stage company. We just completed a Series A financing event in the January-February timeframe, which we were quite excited about. And we are coming up on, we're 3.5 years old and been developing this technology for some time. We have gotten amazing traction within the automotive community and the autonomous vehicle community. So automotive community for safety systems, autonomous community for autonomy-based vehicles for trucking and robo-taxis. And that has resulted in dozens upon dozens of engagement opportunities for us and demonstration systems and proof of concept opportunities where we're co-developing solutions with those types of folks. We have we're in the process of increasing our head count. We had at one point in last year 7 employees. We have 24 employees today. We are hoping to be at 34 employees by year end. So growth in terms of just across the board in terms of the support and the development people that we need to address the market opportunity.
Excellent. And of course, safety is at the heart of your business model. Looking at the market overall, can you tell me a little bit about why traffic and pedestrian safety are an industry that you think investors should watch closely?
Well, sure. So there are 3 drivers in the automotive market for safety. Consumer demand for it in consumer vehicles, requirements that are placed upon the industry by insurance, which really wants to drive down the cost of insuring vehicles, and thirdly, regulatory. And I'd like to emphasize the regulatory. So over the last 30 years, regulatory has been very, very focused on in-cabin safety. So the driver and passengers, and has really not focused at all on pedestrians outside of vehicles. And that's unfortunate because recent statistics have shown that over the last decade, the increase in fatalities of pedestrians has increased nearly 59%. So in the most recent infrastructure bill that was just passed by Congress here in the United States, that statistic came to bear. And the infrastructure bill actually calls out funding and direction to NHTSA, the traffic administration that regulates U.S. Safety, to address this particular problem for the first time. And NHTSA has just published their recommendations, which include specific recommendations for how to address pedestrian safety with a very, very defined and well delineated test procedures for testing vehicles with pedestrians in day-night time operation to basically reduce this incident and the deaths of pedestrians. And the technology that we're developing we are developing to test against those new NHTSA test procedures. So we see that this has now come to the fore as a major issue. It's been identified statistically as a significant problem, and then it's now being addressed here domestically in the US, and it's also being addressed by the European Union. So we also see this becoming a global problem and being addressed globally from a regulatory perspective.
Excellent. So looks like a lot of room for innovation and a lot of room to make a positive impact.
Absolutely, unequivocally. Couldn't have said it better.
Chuck, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Really, really appreciated it.